So welcome back to East End Park, Dave McNicoll. It's a long time since you've been here, I am assuming.
1985, because I came here for the centenary.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last time I was
That's the
here.
last time you're here. So you'll notice big changes around the ground once you go out and see it.
Not today, I don't think. Should we say it's snowing?
How did the move to Dunfermline come about?
That was in that little scrapbook I brought. The fact was that I had one game left. It was on the 18th of May, 1969, and I had been attached to Dundee Football Club, but they were meant to. I was going to sign professional forms. I was only 17, but I was going to sign professional forms after the amateur season was over, and. Unfortunately, the chap, Bobby Ansell, who was the manager, lost his job, and they brought in John Prentice. And he watched me play, and I was playing centre forward at that. I played all over the place, but I was playing centre forward for a game down at Arbroath, Gayfield Park, and we lost 2-1, and it was a difficult day. And I scored a goal, and he thought, well, you're never going to make it as a centre forward, so we'll just give you. Well, not a free transfer because I hadn't signed anything. He said, so we'll not be taking you on next season. And I had this one game left for the SA, Scottish Amateur Football Association under 18s, and it was against the Scottish Schoolboy under 18s. And a chap who was at Dundee with me, Ian Phillip, he was in the Scottish Schools under 18 team, and I was playing inside right and he was playing left half. And it was through at Crickentillach, the football pitch, and we beat them 5-2, and I scored 2 goals and I laid on 3 goals for a chap playing the right wing. And after the game, this fellow came up to me and said, he said he was a Dunfermline scout, and there was somebody else from Everton and somebody else from Rangers, and they were all interested in me. And the next, within 2 or 3 days, the scout came to see me at home with my parents, and he said that Dunfermline would definitely want to sign you. So much so that George Farham's going to personally come over to Dundee, and he duly did. In his posh V8 3.5 Rover, and my father had a posh car as well, I must admit, but that didn't mean anything really. But he said, I'll give you £200 if you sign on. Now I just thought, £200? It's 1969. If you worked that out, a pint of beer, you'd roughly get about 6 pints of beer for £1. So they gave me 1,200 pints, and if you multiply that by the price today, say £3.50, you're almost at £4,000 to sign on for Dunfermline. Well, that's a bit bizarre, but I mean, that's the way you can link it to how much money it was at that time. And I said, that's fine. I was working as a draftsman, oblique tool maker in Ferrante, and I was in my second year, and my father said that I should just stay in that role, so I signed part-time. But I must admit, Dunfermline, we had a really good reserve team and a first-class team. I mean, the start of that season, Dunfermline were doing really well. And also the fact was that they'd just been to the semi-finals of the European Cup Winners' Cup, Slovan Bratislava, etc. So I thought, yeah, it's good. The problem was training. I couldn't come for training. But that's why I signed.
So what did you do then about training? Did you come train elsewhere and then just come here on a match day?
Yeah, I could only turn up on match days because I mean I didn't have a car or anything at that time, and there was nobody really else who could take me over. So, but I was fit anyway, and I went down and did some training with one of the junior teams in Dundee. You know, Tuesday, Thursday, or something like that. And that was it. But I was only there 3 months, I think, or something. Well, it must have when I signed, and then the season started in August. So, yeah, in October then they asked me to go full time regarding Roy Barry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So was Roy Barry still here then?
Yeah. When I signed.
So when you signed. So
Yeah, he was playing in the first team, and yeah, he was there.
So did you actually play beside him at any point?
Never. No, he was transferred in October, and George Farm then said to me, "I'd like to go full time, and there's every chance you'll get in the first team." I had been playing well in the reserves. I had, and I was playing right half or centre half, and without being big-headed, you know yourself whether you're good, bad, or indifferent. You know, you just know. And in these days, I mean, we had guys who would be coming back from injury, who were 28, 29 years old, 27 years old, and there was a few part-timers like myself, but you knew against the calibre you were playing against too. Am I coping? You know, and it was good. And the only chap who was going to keep me out of the team now that Roy was here was Doug Bailey, who was 35 years old, and he must have weighed, and he must have weighed about 25 stone or something. But he was playing. And George Farm said that to me. He said, "There's nobody else." And Jim Fraser had hurt himself again. So I knew then that I could do that. And then at that time we were still playing in Europe, and they had a match against it'd be Guardia Warsaw, I think. And they asked me to go over. And I'd be a substitute, and I thought, because they made me a substitute here in the match, which was quite a close game, and then we went over there, and that was the first time I'd ever been out of Scotland. And well, I'd been down to England obviously, but I mean, I'd just been saying to go abroad, and it was a great experience, it really was. I mean, just getting a passport and all these sort of things. And again, it was a move in the right direction. And Willie Renton's coming today, he's got a great goal over there. He used to use these polka dot balls, do you remember these?
Yeah.
They were really bouncy, and Willie had a fantastic shot from about 40 yards, and then he went into the goal, and we won 1-0 over there. And the money was fantastic.
Yeah.
We were getting paid exceptionally well. Yeah, I think I was getting £8.12 and 6 as a trainee draftsman, and came to Dunfermline and they gave me £8 a week as a part-time wage. And then when I signed full-time, they paid me £22 a week.
Well worth it.
That was more than what the journeymen were getting in Ferrantes.
Yeah.
£22 a week, gee whiz.
And you were doing something that you enjoyed.
Imagine getting paid for doing something you were doing for every Saturday for free. It was really good.
So what was the team like? Because you would travel down from Dundee with probably Hugh Robertson, George McLean and George McKinney. Shug, that's what we called him. Shug had a brand new Ford Corsair, F registered, 2 litre. Dandy, he had a Triumph 2000, beef McKinney we called him. Wonder why. He didn't have a car at that time, so we were picked up every day. And I remember they gave us expenses and we were travelling in the car. I didn't work that out, but I was quite happy about it. We got £5 or something a week or something expenses, and it was really good. Then we travelled up and down every day, and we went for lunch. I can't remember the name of the place. Was it the City Hotel?
No. Oh, we did that on Saturday. We used to go to the City Hotel on Saturday.
The Regal?
Yeah, the Regal. And a cinema attached.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we went there.
Up the stairs?
Well, I can just remember, but we got free food anyway. It was good. Yeah, we had good players. We really did.
Yeah, it was a good time at that time. Although Dunfermline were probably beginning to
Well, we were
That's
third
slightly
top,
missing.
and we beat Celtic 2-0 here.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing in that game, but I was in the squad.
Mhm.
You know, and in these days, when you were full timer, if you were in the squad, there was only one substitute in these days, I think. But if you were in the squad, you didn't get any extra money,
Mhm.
but you knew then you were on the fringe of getting in.
Yeah.
And we beat Celtic 2-0, and we were third top of the league, and we were getting position in the league money as well,
Mhm.
and appearance money. And £34 if you're in the first team, £5 appearance money, 39, and then 30 quid for an away win and £20 for a home win.
Well done.
And kick your granny for that.
You made your debut at Fir Park.
That came as a bit as a surprise, just because it was, and I think George Farm was a bit of an extrovert. I think, you know, looking back on it, and he dropped 5 players from the first team. Willie Renton, McLean, Ben Martin, can't remember. But there was 5 players dropped, and he brought in myself, Billy McLaren, the young lad from Glasgow, and maybe a couple others. I can't quite remember, but it caused a real surprise, and it was 0-0, and it was hard ground. 6th of December it was, and it was a difficult match, and I was playing. Doug Bailey was playing, and he wasn't that mobile,
No.
right? And I was meant to be playing something like double centre half alongside him, and there was this fellow called Dixie Dean, who was playing centre forward for Motherwell, and he was a wee fella, you know, 5'7", 5'8", and I thought, well, not to worry about there. First corner kick, he jumped, and he was about a foot higher than I was, and he headed the ball, hit off the crossbar, and went over. Oh, Christ. I took a bit of a bollocking for that, I must admit, I remember. And that was one of the key things. Forget about even the debut, but when you were playing against teams and you had the older players and some who were really good players, you know, they taught you a lot. Things that you just didn't know.
Yeah.
You know, like playing somebody offside or things like that, and you take them on board if you're smart
Yeah.
and listen, and that was really good. So from that game, I do remember they talked about goal side. I'd never heard of that expression before. Goal side, all right. Well, I know what it is now.
Yeah.
And but it was good. And then the Wednesday night we had Dundee United here on the Wednesday, and we should have. That's when Bert, I think, had his leg broken. But and if Bert hadn't broken his leg, we wouldn't have lost that game. I think we were up 2-0 and then they won 3-2 or something. And the major, Andy Rowland, he scored. He always reminds you. So that was it, but it was good. I mean, it was a great thing. It was Motherwell was a good place to go and believe it or not, I was never out of the team after that.
Yeah.
Unless I was injured.
Yeah, because you also played in the, as you pointed out about your tie, you actually played in the tie against Anderlecht.
Over there and here, yeah, I did. Yeah. That was a huge experience as well. It was. And flying out. And did anybody ever tell you on the Sunday that we flew out there? It was from London, right? And we met the Arsenal squad. They were flying out too to go somewhere. And they were hosing down the plane with acid to get rid of the ice, right? And it was I remember the name. It was I can't remember the name of the jet, but anyway, it's the first time I'd been in a jet, because the one we took to Poland was turboprop, supplied by the Polish airlines, because they wouldn't allow British aircraft to land. So we went down there and we flew out. Now it was 45 minutes from London to Brussels. The very next Sunday, the same flight crashed with 119 people.
Gee whiz.
The very next Sunday, same flight, ice on the wings, went up.
Mhm.
That was spooky.
Yeah.
Makes you think.
Yeah. Mhm.
But it didn't put me off flying. But
Yeah.
Anderlecht was a good experience again.
Because it was a draw over there, wasn't it?
No, we lost 1-0.
Oh, and then
We
came back here.
here.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we went over there and Paul Van Himst, he wasn't fit to play.
That's right. But he played in the second
And
leg.
there's a guy called Mulder playing centre forward, who wasn't much older than me. I was 18, so he'd be about 20, 21.
Mhm.
And we were on the halfway line, and again, the pitch was brick hard. And these days, everybody stood in the halfway line. He was a centre half and 2 full backs, and this guy was standing next to me, and he elbowed me right in the face. And I'd never experienced off the ball
Yeah.
violence
Yeah.
ever. I looked out the dugout, and they were shouting from the dugout. I'll not use the bad language they're using, but they were shouting, "Get down,
Yeah.
roll over," and all that sort of thing. I'm going, what? and the guy came to me, and I ran away from the guy, and he chased me.
Oh.
Now there was no cameras or anything. I don't know if there were any cameras, but he chased me as well. And Willie, I'm sure Willie said, "Get down." And I just, it's always been stuck in my mind that I should have done something. But I mean, I was just only 18 years old.
Yeah, that's right.
I'd never experienced it before.
Mhm.
So it was a great trip.
Mhm. And then, of course, you got them back here.
Yes, I came back here, and it was the very first season when the away goals counted double.
Mhm.
And I think George McLean scored a really good goal. And then wee Mickey, he didn't so much as miss the penalty. The keeper was so lucky, hit the post, and came back and hit him in the face and bounced out the wrong way. And I'm sure that was just before or just after half time. If we'd scored that goal, we would have gone on to really, I think, win the match. And that was getting us into the quarterfinals. I think Newcastle and Arsenal were in. They were in at that time. But although we won 3-2, we were on £125 a man bonus each. Which is great money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then George Farman installed you as captain. And
Yep.
you're the youngest captain that we've had.
Youngest captain in the Scottish First Division. I don't know if that's ever been happened since that day, I don't know. But we only had 2 divisions, Division 1, Division 2. But we were playing against Celtic, and we went up to Dunblane Hydro, where we went all the time to get geared up. Again, we'd be on £100 a man to win the match anytime we played Celtic or Rangers, and all the boys used to play cards. We did it all the time and all that sort of stuff. They really did, and we had a really good 3 days up there. And George Farm just called me over on I think it was a Friday, and said, "Tomorrow I'm going to make you captain against Celtic." Well, it's good. I thought that, he's not winding me up, but I said, "Well," I said, "yeah." He said, "You be able to handle that?" I said, "Yeah, of course." I was chuffed to bits. I mean, I'd been captain of other teams, but just underage school teams and all that sort of business. But I mean, I had an attitude which I've had all my life, is if you're not confident in your own ability, how can you expect anybody else to be? So I hated losing, and I liked winning, and anything else I did, I had the same attitude. The only problem you would have is obviously being a captain against Celtic, and our team would be, I've got guys who are going to be saying, "This is a publicity stunt," which it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was a bit like going back to the 5 boys being dropped for the game against Motherwell. George Farham was probably doing it for maybe his own career. I just don't know. But it certainly didn't do me any harm, not at all.
Yeah.
And I mean, the guys in the team, whether they thought it was a good thing or not, you never ask. I think I did it for about, it was in January, February, March, something like March. I think George Farham said, in fact it's in one of the clippings I had there, that he thought maybe it was affecting my game. Wasn't really.
Yeah.
But I think he did what he wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I received unbelievable publicity, personally, from the press.
You played at White Hart Lane in the Technical Cup with Spurs. So that again must have been an experience for you as well.
It was. It really was. And I think it was getting towards the end of George Farham's career about that time, I think. But we didn't spend a long time down there for preparation. We stayed one night, I think. And that was a great experience because we were up against one of the top English teams, and for me personally, I had to play against Martin Chivers, and he was taller than me, 6'2", and I never made 6. I was 5'11" and 3/4, but I was good at jumping in the air and all the rest of it. But I think I spent the whole game heading him between the shoulder blades. And he scored, I think he scored a hat-trick or something. I mean, he was a typical front man, and the ball played up to them for him to lay it off and all that sort of stuff. That was a prominent thing in that kind of era. And he was difficult, and they had a guy called Ralph Coates. They just paid 200,000 to get him. The wee fella Perryman this was his debut, I think. And Martin Peters, they paid 200,000 to get him. Jimmy Greaves had gone away to West Ham, so they were, Paddy Gardner played well against Martin Peters, but we lost 3-0 and 4-0 or something like that. And there was a guy up front called Alan Gilzine who used to be with Dundee.
That's right.
And Shug Robertson played with him at Dundee, and Gilly pegged up in this Jag, similar to the Jag that Roy Barry had, which I eventually did something with as well. But he came out of the car and he had an open neck kind of shirt like this with a tie that was down here a bit, and he had a cardigan on, right? Pair of cavalry twills, and he came out with this Jaguar with it parted tunnel. I don't know if you know, Alan came from Cooper Angus. And he'd been down there for the best part of 7 years in London. And Shug Gilly, and he spoke, and you know what, and he spoke in exactly the same accent that he had. And he was so laid back. And he said, I was laid on a few pints after the game, he said, this pub that I can go to. And but we couldn't go. We just couldn't do that. We were part of the group. But he was really good.
Your first goal for the club, you scored in a 2-2 draw away to Dundee United.
Yeah. Is that the one there?
I don't know, might have been.
Could have been. What date was that? 1970?
In 1977, it was that season, 70-71 season.
Yeah, that'd be right. That's the goal it is, definitely. Yeah, that was my first goal. It was a header, yeah, it was. I couldn't remember whether it was my first goal or not. I didn't score that many goals.
No, you didn't actually, surprisingly.
No. George Farham played me once against, could have been Cowdenbeath, I don't know if they were promoted or not, but he played me up front. He played me once in midfield, and he said I was the next Dave Mackay, and then when I played up front I was going to be the next centre forward, somebody else that was really famous and all that stuff. He was always wanting the press.
Right.
say positive things, and
Yeah.
I know.
So what was the difference then when George Farm was sacked and then Alec Wright came in? How was it playing under Alec Wright?
Well, I mean, the first thing happens as soon as you get a new manager and they put you out and there's 22 players on the pitch, first team against, first team forward line and then reserve defenders, and then vice versa, another team, you get a new manager. It's amazing sometimes just how some of the players will change. They will just change, and they'll put more effort into this game. So Alec came along, and I think he brought Willie McLean with him, Jim McLean's brother. Alec had a good record at St Mirren, and that's where he came from, wasn't it? I think it was, and he was okay. And but the team was different from, let's say, the previous season. Where we get into Texco Cup and whatever, and you're going to get towards the quarterfinals of the Fairs Cup. But the team was not as strong, and we were struggling a bit. And then we just get into a lull, and then we signed Joe McBride, brought him in, but Joe had a serious injury at Celtic, so I don't think he was going to be really a huge asset. In fact, I fell out with him. I'm sure Alec signed him, and we were playing. Is it Crossgate? What's the one the pitch that used to be out on?
Hamburg Park at Crossgates.
Yeah, there was a pitch out there. We used to train there, and I fell out with Joe because I kicked him. Not deliberately.
Yeah.
Just part of the game, and he moaned at me, and I said, "That's what we're here for."
Yeah.
Really, in terms of not you want to injure players in your own team. You don't. But it's just that it just happens. It's where you play, and I think Alec was, getting used to the players, and I was definitely playing alongside Cushley at that time. Sure I was. Yeah. I was, and it was alright because John would be quite happy going for all the balls, but so would I. But I never learnt anything off him. I learnt a lot more off Jim Fraser.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Did you learn a lot off your partners?
Yeah, Jim Fraser was really good. I mean, he was. I mean, he if he'd been more mobile and all the rest of it, I mean, he could do things with the ball. He had good vision. He did, yeah. Willie Callaghan, he was a good right back. John Lunn, he was quick. He was, and but you watch everything that they do, and you take it on board, and you add it to your own game, and I can't thank them enough. Not because we're making any special effort to give me any, teaching them, but I do remember there was one incident. Billy McLaren, we were down at Ayr United, something like that. In fact, maybe that was the game after we'd been at Anderlecht. Billy brought the ball down in the box, and he wasn't playing in defence, whichever corner kick. He brought it down to get under control and tried to beat somebody in the box. I mean, nobody did that. I mean, you get the ball in the box and they've got a corner kick. It's either row J or it's up the pitch or something like that. And I remember, I think it was Willie. Willie had said when we came in at half time, if you want to do that, he says, you'll be doing that in the reserves. And he said right in front of George Farm. Sure he did. And because that's just a no-no. I mean, irrespective of how good you are controlling the ball and keep you up records, I mean, I could keep up 100 times, both feet. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and all that sort of stuff. But no. You kick it and head it the way you're facing. I mean, seriously. And the goalkeeper rarely threw it out. We threw it in here, get right back to him, get up. But you never did that. You moved up the pitch approach the halfway line and get as much pressure on the opposition, and then the goalkeeper kicks up there, and you've got more chance of getting a ball if it bounces off somebody's head or something like that, as opposed to playing it out.
Yeah.
And if you watch football today, there's a lot of mistakes made. I mean, yeah, I'm just talking about in general football.
Yeah.
They're just not skillful enough to play the ball about in the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
So all these things you learn, but I wasn't doing that before I came here anyway.
Right.
Not at all.